A couple of other quick examples, okay? Dating and the military. They actually use exactly the same decision-making process. It's just lunch. The International Dating Network says you should go out to lunch and wait until the end of lunch before you make a decision about the other person. They will not let you see a photo because we snap react to photos. They will advocate that you not make an instant judgment about the person because we make very bad instant judgments about people. Instead, they say, get to know the person, circle around them, understand, observe, process, and then at the end of lunch, ask yourself one simple question: would I go out on a second date with this person? The military does exactly the same thing. John Boyd, arguably the greatest fighter pilot in history, developed something called the OODA approach, or OODA loop, O-O-D-A, for observe, orient, decide, and act. The idea is, instead of looking across the table at a date, you're looking at the enemy jet fighter and processing information about how the enemy is moving to the left or right, what sorts of tactics the pilot is using, what the plane is capable of. And he advocated this plane, the F-16, because it could be used like a switchblade in a knife fight, that it could be used very quickly in response to the enemy. And again, it's this idea of getting fast in order to go slow, just like a professional tennis player. Getting faster than your enemy in order to free up time to observe and process information. Finally, one last idea is that when we're operating in this world where there's an interplay between consciousness and unconscious reaction, where we have more than 500 milliseconds, enough for our emotions to get involved, we can think that we're experts and in a very dangerous way become overconfident in our own abilities. The effect of this overconfidence is known among scientists as the Einstellung effect. And Peter MacLeod, the same Oxford scientist who studied superfast athletes, also studied chess masters. Master-level players will look at this chessboard, and within an average of 27 seconds, they will tell you, here's the fastest move to mate. It's 3 moves. It involves moving the queen up and then over and using the knight and queen basically to fork the king. Diagram 2, the only difference is we've moved the bishop over. Effectively, what the bishop moving is doing is freeing up a 5-move checkmate. Okay, so again, if you're not a great chess player, you might not see it, but the 5-move checkmate, known generally as a class of smothered mate, is something that players know cold, is a tried and true practiced set of moves that they're great experts in. And one of the things that Peter MacLeod found, if you showed them this second board where the 3-move mate is still available and then asked them what's the shortest checkmate, that they would see the 5-move checkmate and not the 3-move checkmate. So the lesson here is that we need to pause even when we're experts, that whatever we are in our lives, our areas of primary expertise can not just be the source of opportunity, but also danger, that there can be hidden influences even when we believe what we're doing is at the highest possible level, that there might be these sorts of pernicious influences that are affecting our decision-making that we aren't aware of. The amount of money we make, and for the more than 50% of workers who are either paid by the hour or charged out by the hour, has a pernicious influence on our decision-making. It speeds us up. In an experiment, Sanford DeVoe, the University of Toronto scholar, created 2 groups of people, one of whom were told they were being charged out at $9 an hour, the other were told they were being charged out at $90 an hour. The group that was being charged out at the higher rate regarded their time as more scarce. They became less patient. They became anxious. They had the same sorts of effects that a subliminally flashed fast food logo would have. Experiments consistently show that as we feel wealthier, we start to feel that we have less time. If you make a lot of money per hour, going to your kid's soccer game is suddenly an incredibly expensive proposition. And the people who have succeeded climbing the corporate ladder, who have been successful and made more and more money, are in a way undermining their own happiness and success by virtue of their accumulated expertise. As we get to longer and longer term decisions, as the 24-hour media cycle, the election cycle leads us to make compressed judgments about policy issues that have long-term implications, this problem gets bigger and bigger and bigger. We make instantaneous judgments about the markets, about the environment, about climate change, and yet the right period of time for making these decisions is much, much longer over the course of years, and we should wait for as long as we possibly can. So the big difference between humans and animals, is that humans can think about the future. We can do even better than our role model, Maggie. And if I have one word that I would leave for future generations, for children who are born 100 years from now, who will have all of our hardwiring, all of our snap reactions, and yet will be exposed to a world that is unimaginably faster than the world we experience today. If I had just one word for these people, that word would be wait. Thank you.